Are you a new podcaster or are you a podcaster who is actually struggling right now? If you are, I want you to listen from A to Z because I'll be sharing with you some podcasting business models that drive client acquisition for your business, okay? I'm speaking about you generating revenue. You not struggling anymore, okay? So let me talk about the business models first. You have to understand that choosing the right niche is really crucial. When it comes to having a business model, everything starts with the niche that you're in. Because the niche is going to really structure your thinking, structure your episodes, structure your sponsorship deals, structure also the kind of collaboration that you are going to have. But you also need to understand that market research is going to help you. And but you want to really conduct market research at the very beginning. Don't do it at the end. Don't do it, let's say, in transition. No, you want to do it at the very beginning. And you also want to understand that monetization will take time and consistency. So if you're thinking about having podcasting business models that drive client acquisition, you have to understand that this is a long run sort of itinerary. This is a long term trajectory. Okay. So first of all, choose the right niche. When it comes to when it comes to niche, you have to understand that you got to have a clear idea about who your audience really is. You have to think about the competition, what the competition is doing, and what you can do better. And you also think about the monetization potential of that niche. Okay, because you have to ask yourself whether or not brands, sponsors, or advertisers invest in that niche in the first place. Because otherwise, why would you go for a niche where nobody's invested, where nobody's really interested in? Okay, don't waste your time. That's the first thing. So select the right niche if you want to drive client acquisition real fast. You also need to do some market research, conduct market research. You want to analyze existing podcasts in your niche, join online communities, whether it is on Facebook, on Instagram, Facebook or Pinterest. Okay, you want to browse forums such as Reddit to see exactly what's happening, what people are talking about. You want to survey potential listeners, and you want to also check ad spend in your niche. That's important to check the ad spend because again, a podcast is a business. And if you want the business to be scalable, you have to generate revenue. When it comes to a business model that drives acquisition, client acquisition, or let's say listener acquisition for a new podcaster, you have to go back to your UVP or USP, as some experts call it. UVP stands for unique value proposition, and you have to understand that your unique value proposition is going to be a quintessential when it comes to helping you differentiate yourself in the industry. So think about your expertise or unique angle on a well-covered topic. Think about a fresh or entertaining format, or think about a specific audience demographic that you want to reach out to. Okay, what I'm saying here is that you have to really reach out to them in a very consistent manner. Otherwise, you can't really impress them, and that's not what you want in the first place. You want to invest in high quality equipment. So, monetized podcasts need a professional sound to attract and retain both sponsors and premium listeners. So, poor audio quality can distract, reduce listener engagement, and damage your brand's credibility. That's why investing in high quality audio and production tools is actually non negotiable, especially if you are serious about podcasting as a revenue stream. So think about things like microphones, acoustic treatment. I've said this before, but I want to reiterate it. Think about headphones, for instance. I also want you to think about cameras, lighting, and think also about recording and editing software. I want you to understand that basically recording software dramatically impacts the quality of your content. So when researching recording software, you want to focus on high definition recording capabilities, remote recording features, automated editing abilities, and transcription capabilities. That's an important element. You also want to think about lighting. Lighting is really key because good lighting will enhance the video quality, even with a basic camera. Okay, so if you are doing a podcast, you still need lighting because at some point you might want to be on YouTube to derive more revenue, And on YouTube, everything is visual. I mean, you can still have a blank screen, but it's better to have good lighting. Think about high definition cameras too, because those cameras will elevate your podcast production value, making it more appealing to visual audiences and sponsors. So you want to pair your camera with proper lighting to avoid shadows and ensure a professional appearance. What about headphones? Well, headphones are kind of optional, but they're good to have because investing in closed back over ear headphones helps you monitor audio accurately while recording and editing. Because this ensures that you catch any background noise, distortions, or inconsistencies before publishing. So, if you think about podcasting business models that drive client acquisition for new podcasters, I want you to also think about building an audience engagement strategy. And see, the thing is, if you want to engage your audience, you got to be strategic. You can't just wish for it to happen. You have to go and work at it, okay? Because even the best podcast won't make money without listeners, and those listeners you do not want to have one-time listeners. You want to have regular listeners. You want to have listeners who really believe in your content, who are really willing to support you, who are willing to do anything for you. I mean, not anything, but at least support you. Okay. So from day one, you want to have a strategy for growing and engaging your audience by doing a couple of things. And those things I'm telling you, they're not really costly. They're not really going to break the bank, really. But they do take some consistency. They do take some let's say some regularity. For instance, you want to leverage social media to share clips and engage with your community. You want to encourage listener interactions during Q&A, live discussions, or feedback requests. You want to collaborate with other podcasters to expand your reach, for instance. You want to optimize your podcast for discoverability by using strong SEO friendly titles and episode descriptions. And the cool thing is that sponsors and advertisers prioritize podcasts with high engagement, not just large download numbers. So it's kind of crucial for you to build a dedicated, interactive community. And another thing I want you to pay attention to is your expectations. In other words, you want to be patient, you want to be consistent, because monetization is not going to happen overnight. Okay, listener acquisition is not going to happen overnight. Client acquisition for your podcast is not going to happen overnight. Many successful podcasts spend months or even years building their audience before making substantial revenue. So basically, you want to stay consistent, okay? Stay consistent with your publishing schedule, engage with your audience, and refine your content over time, okay? And that's one of those things where you have to really be consistent. You have to be committed, okay? You have to be really committed. Another thing you want to do here is that you want to decide on your podcast format. The thing is that podcast format is going to really structure how your audience will actually will welcome the show or not. Okay, and when it comes to format, you have all kinds of possibilities, but it has to do with your own personality, but also your vision for your podcast. So when it comes to podcast formatting, you have a solo show. You can do a co-hosted show. You can do an interview-based show, or you can really do narrative or storytelling. It depends on what you want, okay? Narrative or storytelling actually fits certain niches. So here you have a scripted or documentary style podcast. Interview based, here you are able to feature guest experts and industry leaders. That's kind of cool also. You can also have a co-hosted podcast where you are having a dynamic discussion between two or more hosts. Or if you say, you know what, I'm comfortable doing things on my own, then go with the solo show. So whatever podcast format you decide, just make sure that it is actually in tune with your podcast strategy, and that it's going to help you drive client acquisition real fast, drive listener acquisition. You also want to record your podcast. Okay, so you want to record in a quiet space. If possible, you want to use a dynamic microphone. And if you are a new podcaster, listeners are paying attention to anything. They're paying attention to every single element that's happening in your podcast. So you want to be in a situation where you're constantly improving quality. Okay, so in, you want to improve the audio quality. You want to improve the video quality. You want to speak clearly and at a very steady pace. Don't be too fast. Don't be too slow. Otherwise, people will just tune off. Okay, do a sound check before you start the podcast, and also you want to record in WAV format. And one thing I want to say here is that you are able to when you think about recording in a quiet space, you want to really minimize background noise. Okay, choose a room with soft furnishings like carpets and curtains to reduce echo. And also for when it comes to the microphone, you want to pair your microphone with noise suppression features, ensuring that your voice remains clear even in less than ideal environments. And you are also able to do a sound check at the very beginning to make sure that you are really talking and the people are hearing you. Otherwise, you just be wasting your time. So when it comes to podcasting business models that drive client acquisition for new podcasters, I want you to really edit and enhance your recording also. Okay. So once your recording is complete, it's time to clean up the audio, remove mistakes. I mean, a lot happens. I mean, you're not perfect. I'm not perfect. So your first take is not going to be the best one. Okay. So you got to really edit it. You got to remove mistakes. You got to add finishing touches. Okay. And what you want to do here is that you want to cut out filler words, things like or whatever. Okay. You want to add intro and outro music. That way you can really streamline the whole podcast also. And also you want to add captions. That's going to help you big time, especially when it comes to speaking, like having a good storytelling session with your audience. And you want to finally publish and distribute your podcast. So when it comes to publishing and distributing your podcast, you have to understand that there are a lot of platforms out there to kind of help you out. So you can have a podcast hosting service, or you can go to a podcast directory. It really depends on what you want to really, what you really are trying to achieve with your specific podcast or that specific episode. Okay. So let me talk to you first about the podcast hosting platforms that you might want to really check out. So you can check out Buzzsprout. You can check out Anchor by Spotify. You can check out Libsyn, or you can check out Transistor. So if you think about Buzzsprout, think about a platform that's user-friendly and great for beginners. If you have a Spotify for podcasters, it used to be called Anchor back in the days. This is a platform that's free and integrates very well with other software tools. Libsyn is a reliable choice favored by professional podcasters. And Transistor is ideal for businesses and brands looking for advanced analytics. And so to maximize your reach, you can submit your podcast RSS feed to popular directories such as Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, but also Amazon Music. So if you're trying to really look for a podcasting business models to drive listener acquisition, let me give you a few hacks here. What I want to say is that you have to engage directly with your audience. Don't try to really be shy. Okay, your audience is there to listen to you. Your voice is something very intimate. Okay, if your audience is listening to you for 30 minutes or 1 hour, they've already allowed you into their privacy. So engage directly with them. Okay, you want to really create meaningful connections. Don't be shy at all, and you also want to optimize your podcast for discoverability. So in terms of optimization, think about the episode titles, the show notes, the transcriptions, and so on and so forth. You want to network also within the podcasting community. Don't think that podcasting is only competitive. Of course, there's a little bit of competition. You might be actually competing with other podcasters in your niche, but you also have an opportunity to network too. So you can learn a few things here and there. So consider guest experiences on different shows within your niche or hosting guest experts on your podcast. So this strategy actually introduces your podcast to new audiences already interested in similar content. Because the whole thing is that you have to expand your reach. Otherwise, you're just going to quote unquote die. Your podcast is going to die. You also need to analyze and adapt. Okay, so you want to regularly review your podcast analytics to understand what resonates with your audience, what works, what doesn't work, what can be improved, what's fine the way it is. Okay, you want to track metrics like download numbers, listener demographics, and episode performance. So use this data to refine your content strategy, focusing actually on what your audience loves the most. So combining these strategies with the tips provided that a little earlier will create actually a robust foundation to help you grow your podcast, drive client acquisition, right, listener acquisition, enhance your brand, and set the stage for monetization opportunities for you. So that's really important to think about it that way. Let me close today's conversation by talking about monetization here. So basically, when you think about podcasting, you have two types of monetization. So you have direct monetization and you have indirect monetization. Okay. So with direct monetization, you are earning money directly from your podcast through your podcast content, okay, through ads, sponsorships, memberships, and premium content. And for indirect monetization, you can use your podcast as a platform to sell products and services or even leverage opportunities outside of your episodes. So when I speak about direct monetization, you can sell paid memberships and exclusive content. So basically, listeners subscribe for a monthly fee similar to Netflix or Spotify, and paid members get exclusive perks like ad-free episodes, early access, bonus episodes, or behind-the-scenes content. So platforms like Patreon, Supercast, and Apple Podcast subscriptions make it very easy to set up memberships. You can also sell sponsorships and ads. Okay, so basically, you have a CPM model, cost per milli, where sponsors will actually pay per 1,000 downloads. So ad placements include pre-roll ads, mid-roll ads, and post-roll ads. You can also use affiliate marketing. This is another fantastic opportunity to actually generate revenue this year. So basically, what happens here is that you are able to use affiliate marketing. So you can recommend a product or service relevant to your audience. You share a unique affiliate link in your show notes or episode description, and you earn a commission every time someone makes a purchase using your link. So that's really fantastic. You also have the possibility to repurpose content. You can really repurpose your content and put it on platforms such as YouTube, for instance. What about indirect monetization? Well, indirect monetization means that you are using your podcast as a platform to sell products, services, okay, or other opportunities outside of the podcast itself. So you are able to sell physical products and merchandise. So merchandise, you're speaking about, like you have merch such as branded t-shirts, hoodies, and mugs, physical books or journals related to your niche, custom stickers, phone cases, or posters. You can try also public speaking. Okay, you can try. You can write a book, for instance, or you can do a book. You can have a let's say a paperback book or just an ebook. By the way. So, in conclusion, in today's conversation, I'll share with you some podcasting business models that drive listener acquisition for new podcasters. I give you the business models, the hacks, the monetization, and the conclusion. Thank you so much. God bless you. I will see you next time. Until then, remember, stay marvelous.